Now, I'm sure we all saw some footage of North West, who was the daughter of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, singing on stage at some Lion King on Broadway at Disney or something, right? And it was a mess. She did not do a good job, right? And we gonna have to discuss this. Clearly, we all know that this was a nepotism thing. Clearly, Kanye or Kim signed somebody check, put some money in somebody's pockets to get her up there because this is the thing. This is the thing. Of course, Northwest is a child. She's like 10 years old or something. I'm not expecting her to be the greatest person in the world, but this is the reality. This is the reality. There is some 10-year-old out there who is really into theater and Broadway and stuff, and who really can sing and dance, and who would have really done an amazing job up there, right? So, Northwest being 10, like, if she was a 10-year-old whose parents were not Kim and Kanye, and she was that bad at, Broadway performances, she would never have made that stage, okay? So on one hand, people are trying to stand up for her, like, she's a kid, like show some grace, give her some time to get better. But it's still unfair because there are kids who are actually into Broadway and theater who would have done a great performance if they had been given the chance, but Kanye and Kim were able to just sign somebody's check and get her on the stage, and that's really not fair at all. This is my thing. This is my thing. Okay, because we all hate nepotism, of course, right? It's unfair that somebody gets opportunities just because their family knows somebody, right? But let's be realistic, okay? Let's be realistic. Put yourself in these people's shoes. If you were rich and successful and all this other stuff, wouldn't you look out for your kids? Because I know I would. And this is something I thought about, when I was 18, 19, 20 years old in college, right? I was struggling really badly in college because I was trying to go to school and I also had to work 30, 40 hours a week to pay my bills, right? And I was really going through it. It really was hard, right? On the other hand, I had some friends, their parents paid all their bills and they had an awesome college experience. They got to just focus on classes and be able to go to every party. They didn't have to struggle the way that I did, right? And it's like, on one hand, of course, I want that for my kids. I don't want my kids to have to struggle. But on the other hand, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. Those friends, I wouldn't call them worthless, right? But I would say that I definitely have more skills and more just, more of a go-getter attitude because I've always had to get it out the mud. I've never had, the situation where I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter if I can't, do X, Y, Z because my parents will cover it. No, I never had that, right? So it was like, no, I'm going to have to figure this out and I'm going to have to make something work, right? So no matter what, I can always make something work, no matter what, right? And one of my friends actually mentioned that to me before. She was like, if I was ever in a situation where, like, I didn't have my car, I wouldn't be able to find my way home. And I'm like, that's crazy because I absolutely would. I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to be able to find my way home. I can look up the bus routes, be like, okay, this one goes here. Even if I'm in a foreign city, I will be able to figure it out because I've always had to. I've always had to figure it out, right? So I've always thought to myself, when I have kids, I don't want them to struggle the way that I did. Absolutely not. So when I have kids, I'm not going to be like, oh, go to college, work 40 hours a week, and go to school full time. I'm not going to do that, right? But I don't want my kids to be like Northwest. I don't want them to just be raggedy and just have doors open for them just because they're my kids. So something I've always thought about, even prior to seeing this monstrosity of a video, is that I have to find a healthy middle ground for my kids. Now, in my situation, I came to the conclusion, okay, like when I have kids, I probably pay half their bills, right? So that would allow them to still gain the skills that somebody like me whose parents were paying nothing, had to gain, right? So they would still be able to find an apartment and be like, okay, like, am I going to be able to pay for this? Okay, my mom will pay for this portion of it, but I still have to make sure I can find a job that pays well enough and that I get enough hours to where I can pay the other part of it or whatever, right? So they're still building those skills, but they're not just out there completely just drowning under all of these expenses and all of this struggle, right? that's the conclusion I came to. Whatever. If y'all agree, disagree, let me know in the comments, right? But my point is this. Again, of course, we all hate nepotism. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not going to help my kids out if I'm in the position to. Like, I feel like that's kind of the whole point of getting to be in a better position. Why would I want my kids to struggle the way that I did, right? But why on earth, if I know my child cannot sing or dance, right, and has no experience with Broadway and theater, why on earth would I be like, yeah, let me make sure my child gets this position? Come on now. I feel like it would have been better if they at least had North in some singing and dancing classes, and she was actually into Broadway, and then they used their nepotism to get her an audition at least, right? Like, yeah, that's still nepotism. They made sure they got her an audition, but she could have either actually gotten the part because she really was prepared for it, or not got it because somebody better audition. Right? But why, if you know your child can't hold a tune, can't dance a jig, why on earth would you pay somebody off to put her up on Disney whatever as the main character? Like, be for real with yourself, please. And if I paid for tickets to that show and Northwest got up there hollering, I just can't wait to be king, I'd be like, girl, I need a refund. I'm writing letters. I'm suing somebody. Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, bring your ass to the courthouse because I want my motherfucking money back. Because why would you bring this talentless child up here knowing that I paid all this motherfucking money for this ticket? It'd have been a motherfucking girl fight up in there. Like, somebody would have had to rectify something because there just ain't no way in hell. You gotta be honest with your kids. I'm so sorry, but let me put myself in Kim and Kanye's shoes, right? I'm a million billionaire type bitty. You know what I'm saying? And my kid comes to me and says, Mom, Dad, I want to be young Simba on the Disney whatever. I'd have been like, honey, you can't fucking sing, you can't fucking dance. What do you think you about to do up on that stage besides look like a fucking goofball and embarrass the fuck out of yourself and me? Like, if you want to be, like Disney's young Simba, whatever, then how about we get you in some singing classes, some acting classes, some whatever, and you actually put in the work and learn how to do X, Y, Z, and you get ready for that, and then we can get back into that, right? Why would you just let your child go up there knowing that they talentless as hell? Like, what? And then you don't even have no excuse to being talentless because you got all the money in the world. So you easily could have put her in some theater classes, could have put her in some singing classes, could have put her in some dancing classes. I'm sorry, but this mentality of telling your kids that they just the greatest in the world at every single thing without putting in any hard work or any effort, we gonna have to nip that in the bud a little bit, because this is my thing as a parent. I feel like, of course, you need to tell your child, you can do anything you put your mind to, right? But you're going to have to put some work in. You got to put some work. If you don't put forth no effort, you just going to be raggedy as hell. Like, what? It would have been bold enough if, she got the position, but she was actually prepared for it. Like, she was, really into, theater and singing and dancing, and she got up there and she really did her thing. It would have been bold because it's like, okay, clearly she only got the part because she Kanye and Kim daughter. But at least she really put in the work, and there's no denying that she is good at this thing, right? But the fact that she's not even good at the thing in question, but she still got the position, that's just blasphemous. Like, you gotta be joking, bro. This is my thing. I play the violin. I'm a real violinist. I played the violin at Michigan State in the concert orchestra. I really can play the violin, right? But I'm not good enough to play the violin at, like, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. I know my limits, okay? If my parents hit the lottery today, it was a million billionaires, it came to be like, Rachel, look, the DSO needs a solo for XYZ piece. And I looked at the piece and I was like, ooh, like, what? I absolutely would not get up on that stage. I would not. Now, if I got to the point where I actually was good enough to do that, then I'd be like, oh, yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, sure. But right now, at this moment in time, there's no way. I'm not going to get up on that stage and embarrass myself. There's no way, right? And I feel like Kim and Kanye should have had a serious discussion with their daughter and been like, girl, there's no way you think you finna get up on that stage. Like, come on. Be for real. Be for real. Now, if you want to get into theater, then we have the money to put you in those classes. And one day you will be good enough for that, right? But as of right now, today, sit your goofy ass down.